It's 11 p.m. You're staring at a spreadsheet, wondering how you got here again. The title was new and the team was new, but the feeling is exactly the same. That's not bad luck. That's karma, and it's not what you think. Maybe it starts with a deadline that somehow became your responsibility, even though nobody officially asked you to own it. Maybe it's the third time this week you've eaten dinner at your desk while your food goes cold. Or maybe it's that hollow feeling on Sunday night, the one that tells you Monday is coming, and nothing has really changed. You've been here before. Different company, different city, maybe even a different industry. But the arc is identical every time. There's enthusiasm at the start, long hours in the middle, and then the crash. The burnout creeps in so slowly that you don't even notice it until you're already emptied out. The quiet decision to leave comes next, and you tell yourself it's a fresh start. And then, a new job that looks so different on the surface, but somehow delivers the exact same result. Here's the part that's hard to sit with. Nearly half the world's workforce reports burnout right now. Gallup tracked this in 2024, and the numbers keep climbing. More than half of those burned out people are already looking for their next escape, trading one desk for another, with a new logo on the laptop. But if you look closely at the research, the pattern is unmistakable. The external conditions change, but the internal loop stays exactly where it's always been. Sound familiar? So most people blame the workplace, and some workplaces are genuinely toxic, so that blame isn't always wrong. But if you've changed jobs more than once and the ending is always the same, there's a harder question to ask. What if the thing that keeps repeating isn't the job at all? What if it's what you bring to every single job you take? That's a tough sentence to hear, and I know it. But it's also where things get interesting, because if the problem is inside the pattern and not inside the office, then the solution is a completely different shape than you expected. It doesn't look like a resignation letter. It looks like paying attention. And the first thing to pay attention to is the word that's been misunderstood for centuries. When most people hear the word karma, they picture a cosmic ledger where good deeds get rewarded and bad deeds get punished. It's fate with a moral scorecard attached. But that's not what the word actually means. In Sanskrit, karma literally translates to action, not reward, not punishment, just action. And in Buddhist teaching, it goes even deeper than that. Karma isn't the action itself, it's the urge underneath. The compulsion that drives you to think a certain way, or say something, or keep working when you already know you're exhausted. There's a teaching I keep coming back to from Namchak. They describe karma as an urge that propels you whether you consciously want to move or not. Think about it like this. You can sit on the couch and intend to get up for a full hour, but intention doesn't move your legs. Something else does, and that something is karma. The habitual push that overrides your better judgment and gets you moving before your mind is even finished. Debating. Now map that onto your career. You intend to set boundaries with your manager, to leave at 6, to say no to one more project. But when the email arrives, something compels you to say yes anyway. That's not weakness, and that's not a character flaw. That's a karmic urge doing exactly what karmic urges do. They repeat, and they strengthen with repetition, until they feel so automatic that you start to believe they're just who you are. The thing is, you're not stuck with the job. You're stuck with the urge. And that's actually good news, even if it doesn't feel like it right now, because an urge is a pattern, and a pattern can be seen, and once it's seen, it can be interrupted. The hard part isn't the seeing. It's the realizing that what you thought was your personality was actually just a habit you never chose. So here's where it gets really interesting. Buddhist teaching breaks a complete karmic action into 4 pieces. There's the basis, which is the situation itself, the project, the deadline, the difficult conversation. There's the motivation, which is the emotional state underneath, the desire to prove yourself, or to be liked, or to avoid conflict. There's the application, which is the actual thing you do. The yes you say, the hours you put in, the boundary you don't hold. And finally, there's the successful completion, the praise you get, the relief you feel, the temporary validation that tells you it was worth it. When all 4 of those pieces line up, the action completes. And here's what most people miss. Our attitude toward that completed action either strengthens the urge or weakens it. If you feel proud of pulling the all-nighter, if you post about the hustle, if you tell yourself this is what success looks like, then the urge to overwork just got stronger. You fed it. But if you feel genuine regret, if you sit with the cost to your body or your relationships, then the urge weakens. It loses a little bit of its grip. The tragedy of modern professional life is that society usually rewards the exact behavior that burns you out. The promotion goes to the person who stays latest. The praise goes to the one who never says no. The LinkedIn comments celebrate the hustle while your nervous system pays the bill. So your environment is actively reinforcing the karmic loop you want to escape. You're not just overworking. You're overworking in a system that celebrates overwork. And every time you complete that cycle and feel good about it, you make the next cycle more likely. This is why job hopping fails. You get a new basis, a new desk, a new boss, a new set of problems, but your motivation is still the same. Prove worth, avoid disapproval, be the reliable one. Your application is still the same. You say yes, you work late, you don't complain, and your completion is still the same. Temporary praise, temporary relief, and then the same empty feeling underneath that follows you home like a shadow you can't shake. The ancient teachers called this a result that corresponds to its cause. If you harm yourself through overwork, the urge to harm yourself through overwork continues, not because you want to suffer, but because the pattern has become automatic. It feels like fate, but it's actually habit, and habits don't care what city you're in. So if the cycle feeds itself, how do you actually stop it? The answer is much smaller than the books and coaches want you to believe. The self-help industry has a solution for this. Change your mindset, manifest abundance, set better boundaries, and none of it's wrong exactly, but it's all surface level. It's like repainting a house while the foundation is cracking. It looks better for a while, but the structure is still failing. The karma-based solution is much smaller than that, and much harder. You don't change your job. You don't change your team. You don't even change your behavior. Not at first. You just notice the urge before it becomes an action. That's the whole practice, and it sounds too simple until you actually try it. When the email comes in and your chest tightens with the need to say yes, you pause. You don't say no. You don't write a manifesto about work-life balance. You just notice what's happening inside your body, the tightness in your chest, the speed in your thoughts, before the words come out of your mouth. Because if the action doesn't complete, the cycle doesn't reinforce. There's an old analogy about a barley seed. If you plant it, and the soil is right, and the water comes, it grows. You can't fight the plant once it's growing, but you can choose not to plant the seed. The urge is the seed, and the pause is choosing not to plant it. It takes no force and no willpower. It just takes noticing. Small actions bring great results, and that's a traditional teaching too. A tiny spark can start a forest fire, but flip it around, and a tiny pause can prevent one. One breath before you say yes, one moment where you feel the compulsion and don't follow it. That small gap is where the whole pattern starts to unravel. Equanimity, that stable calm that isn't shaken by praise or criticism, grows from these tiny gaps. It doesn't arrive in a revelation. It arrives in a breath. The actions you've already taken won't disappear on their own. That's honest. The karmic seeds you've planted are still in the soil, but they can be opposed. Patience opposes the urge to rush, and understanding opposes the urge to blame. Right livelihood, the Buddhist principle of earning a living without causing harm, includes the harm you cause to yourself. You can work hard without working compulsively. The two are not the same. The career that keeps repeating itself isn't cursing you. It's showing you a habit. And habits don't break through force. They break through noticing. If this landed, share it with someone who's running the same loop. And subscribe, because we go deeper every week on what it actually means to earn a living without losing yourself.